Welcome to Sales Bites by Journey, where we talk about everything you need to know to be a killer at sales. I'm your host, Will Jenkins. Let's get it.
Today's episode is brought to you by Revenova. Revenova solves the transportation management challenges facing 3PLs, freight brokers, carriers, and shippers with multimodal TMS solutions powered by the #1 CRM platform, Salesforce.com. Serving the logistics industry since 2014, Revenova TMS customers benefit from increased sales velocity, improved service quality, higher employee productivity, and lower IT costs. Welcome to Sales Bites by Journey. My name is Will Jenkins, your host, and I'm the founder and CEO of Journey. Today, we have Will Hopkins, founder at Black Box Logistics. Will, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Yeah, man, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I actually had the pleasure of meeting Will via LinkedIn, which is how I meet quite a lot of great people in the space. And I'm excited to dive in here because I think he's got a lot of really, really good tips on creative outreach. So got to find a way to differentiate yourself and cut through the noise. So as we get ready to get started here, Will, any first tips for getting creative with outreach?
Man, I've got a lot of tips. They're kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
I'll say before we really get into it is a thing that we often say at a certain point, you want to be anything but forgettable. So what am I doing to stand out? Whatever that might be. Again, we're a very relationship-based brokerage. And so we don't have any scripts or any copy and paste. We want to connect, right? And so how do I connect? I'm human.
I like that, man. So what are some things that you are telling new reps when you're coaching them to be anything but forgettable?
Man, we try to tell them to not be scared, right? To take some chances, to risk it every now and then. And if and when the conversation feels like it's ending, try to stretch it out. Be human. Try to talk about something other than work. Because I think that at the end of the day, we all want to work with people that we like, that we enjoy, that we have a relationship with. So if you can take care of my freight, fantastic. But you can take care of my freight, and I like talking to you, and I like you as a person. That's what we want. We want those relationships, and ultimately, I'm much harder to fire if we're friends than if I'm some random guy that you just ended up giving a shipment to.
It's really interesting though that you mentioned that, because as you develop those relationships, it is so much harder to lose a customer if there's a true partnership and they know you really, really well. You have to earn your stripes, but you cannot be forgettable. You can't be just another person, in their inbox. You got to find a way to differentiate yourself.
Yeah, and I think that setting expectations with that customer, having those conversations early on about what they expect, what you need. I think that sometimes the reps might fail themselves by not getting the information that they need. Or again, setting those expectations, make sure everybody's on the same page so that things can go well and that you can have that relationship. Because if everything's always burning all the time, they're not going to like you. You want that relationship to grow, you got to do a good job as well.
Totally. So let's talk outreach specifically, whether it be email, LinkedIn, phone call, video message, anything like that. What are some things you've noticed have been effective to cut through the noise and be creative?
Man, we've got a couple of guys in here that love memes, and they'll do email outreach memes, and man, they hit. They've done really well with it, and that's not everybody, right? Like that's not everybody's style or humor. They're not going to be comfortable with that, so we don't sit up here and train them to like, hey, create memes and email them out. But it is something that if and when he's got a great one, we will sit and look at Jeff's outreach. It's working. Landed 4 customers with this meme. So things like that. If you can bring humor in, it might be good to know the prospects a little before you try something like that. Some people wouldn't appreciate it. If you email them a meme, it'd be unprofessional. But with people that it'll hit with, it'll hit. And then so going past that to different platforms. So I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. And one thing that I've tried to do is kind of brand Black Box and kind of just talk about our journey, show who we are, that we're real, genuine people. And I think that, a lot of our customers here will reach out like, hey, I've been working with Rep X. It's really cool to follow along, watch your journey. So I encourage my people, display a little bit. You don't need to be super active, but if you can post some pictures of what you're moving here, there, whatever, just to show if somebody looks you up, they can see you, that you care about your job. Cool. And then if you find a prospect that's active on LinkedIn, just go like their people love that. People are selfish. So if you're liking your stuff and commenting on it, man, they're eating it up, man. Because I know for me, when somebody's liking all my stuff, I remember them. And if they reach out to me about something, I'm much more likely to listen. If they've been liking, commenting on my, supporting me for the past 3 months, I'm like, I like this guy. But if they had none of that, then it's kind of like no leg up. So things as simple as that, man, I think they go a long way.
I love your mention about you building the brand for yourself and for Black Box, because customers are paying attention. And if you're not multi-channel, if you're not finding ways to be present in a bunch of different places, it's really tough to cut through the noise. And people are making those buying decisions, whether or not Will's in the room, right? Like they're looking at your LinkedIn, they're on your website, they're doing a Google search. The more information you have that builds your brand in the light that you'd like it to be, heck of a lot easier to get those customers to convert.
Yeah, 100%. I think that anything you can do to humanize yourself in the organization is a win. Because again, circling back, we were very relationship based. So if and when they look at us as real people building something, people that really care, wake up, work hard every day, I think that people respect that. And we have a presence, and it goes a long way. And yeah, I love it when one of my reps comes up to me and says, hey, my customer mentioned they're following you on LinkedIn, they really like your stuff. I think it's a good thing, right?
Dude, that's huge. So I want to go back to something you mentioned that I think a lot of reps can get more comfortable with. You have to be tactful, but humor in using memes, things like that, I think it's often too easy to be way too buttoned up in sales and way too kind of in the box. And, you have to use tact and not send things that are offensive, but people are people. And I've seen incredible accounts be landed by out of the box, somewhat comedic thinking to engage somebody. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you've been sending them stuff about our organization for however long, and you send them something kind of funny, and now you got a call.
Yeah, man, we say it sometimes. I mean, you have nothing to lose but everything to gain. If it's a true cold call, it's, man, just don't be afraid to get out there a little bit. I mean, don't say anything unprofessional that's going to get you in trouble, but like joke with them, like take some risk. If you make a joke and it doesn't land, nobody else is going to hear it. It's you and the prospects, and you'll probably never talk to them again. So it's okay. Yeah. So tell them to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And then once you get there, you can keep pushing it, right? But if and when I never take that step out to do that, if I'm doing the same thing, I'm not getting the results that I want. Maybe I should try some new things, find what works for me. And it doesn't have to be, if you're not the funny guy, that's okay. But like maybe try something different than, like your little 3-line pitch that you figured out in your head 2 months ago. You haven't landed any customers. So nothing to lose, everything to gain.
I like it, man. So you mentioned humor, you mentioned memes, talked a little bit about the out of the box thinking. Any other modes or methods that you think about kind of coaching reps on outreach for or outreach with?
Man, I mean, that's our main methods. It's phone calls, it's emails. If we can find them, if they're on LinkedIn, like something like that. If they're in town, we'll stop by. That's a big thing. But we don't have, we have local customers, but we're not dense in the area. So we'll go see them. Or if we're ever out somewhere, like somebody's going somewhere, we try to tell them, hey, look, do you have any customers in the area? Go see them. Like we'll fund it. But just continuing to build that relationship. But as far as the outreach, that's pretty much it. We try not to like call people's cell phones unless we have a relationship. We try not to do all that stuff. So nothing too crazy. It's just how we're doing it. We're just trying to stand out. We're not sending the scripts.
Yeah, totally. So do you have any fun examples of out of the box engagement that converted to an opportunity of a customer that y'all work with today?
Man, really, I mean, I think the only thing that comes to mind is the memes. And I wish I could, like airplay them, stream them right here. But yeah, some of them are a little edgy, man. The guy the main guy that does, we call him Meme God. His name's Jeff. But he'll send some memes where like it'll work out. So you'll get the customer. It's like, I don't know if it might be too much, but hell, he got the account. And sometimes that's how it works, right? Like you said, sometimes sales is, or at least in my opinion, sometimes it's a little bit too buttoned up or scripty. And really it's about the connections and how do I make those connections? I'm human, and the people I'm talking to are human. It's just like we're trying to tell, man, the guy you talk to, the shift manager, he's probably a regular guy, probably gonna go home, have a couple beers, grill a burger. He's not. We get a lot of young people too, so that's a hurdle. They it's like maybe their first professional job, so they call them. They're approaching it from they put themselves in an inferior spot. Like talking.
Sure.
Man, you're on the same level as them. You bring value, like you are worthy of their freight, like you're good at what you do. Try to build them up, give them some confidence, and if and when you mess up, we're here to catch you. We'll lift you back up. We'll keep walking.
Yeah, I like that approach, man. When you're new and you're working through outreach, it seems like everybody that you're talking to is so much further ahead. So it's a little nerve wracking.
Yeah. So, man, a big thing that we stress is we say get in the mix. If you don't have any emotion, nothing's going on. Get in the mix. You mess up, take a risk, take a loss, whatever. I just want you in the mix, and I want you learning, and we can build off of that. But if you're sitting there doing this whole, hey, it's Will just touching base, like over and over again, you're not doing anything that we can't build off of that. So we try to remain very aggressive at all times through all markets. I don't tell any of my people how bad it is. If anything, we frame how bad it is as opportunity. Like these companies are going out of business. That's freight for us. So like nobody comes in here like kind of like sad or like, oh, the market's down. They all think that it's like it's bull season all the time.
That's good. I like the way you frame that perspective because I think it is tough sometimes to keep that in mind. But every market cycle is an opportunity. And if you spend your time effectively, you're going to make quite a lot next market cycle based on how you position yourself today. You can do really well today, grow, develop, but you're positioning the next market cycle and you have to approach really every season in that manner.
Yeah, right. I mean, I try to imagine myself as a cradle to grave broker here. If I came in and my general manager's like, oh, it's just like really slow. And I'm like, I'm just gonna give myself excuses for, like why it's not happening, or I'll just like wait for it to pick back up. Like either have excuses or have results. We're trying to get the results.
You are full of incredible phrases. I love it.
I'm a walking one-liner. I've got one of my favorites, 2 feet in a dream. I yell it out here all the time. Just got a bunch of like weird unhinged like that. Gets the people going though.
I love it, man. I love it. I'm going to start stealing some of these. These are good. So let's go ahead before we wrap up here and let's talk a little bit about any other tips you'd have for someone that might be a little bit apprehensive to get creative. Maybe they're in their role, they've been doing it for a little bit and they're like, shoot, I'm not sure how to send a meme. Or I don't know how to be a little humorous in my outreach. Any tips for that? Yeah,
I mean, just do it, but like you don't have to. So a lot of times I'll speak for myself as a human. I go to extremes, very black and white. I'm just all or nothing. It's okay, man. You don't have to transform into like the meme guy by the end of the day, but like maybe I set myself a small goal for something that's going to make me a little uncomfortable, and I do that a couple of times, become comfortable with that, and then I keep pushing it. So I've got like a spectrum of sales tactics I can do. So if I never do it, I'm never going to get comfortable with it. And anything you do, like the first few times, you're going to suck at it. It just is. Like get over yourself. You're a human. We all. Like you're going to mess up. Just you got to do it to get comfortable with it.
Beautiful, man. So before we wrap up here, I'm going to read a couple notes that I took and then let me know if I missed anything or there's anything else that you want to add. So the first thing you said is you want to be anything but forgettable, which I absolutely love. So no scripts, no copy and paste type stuff. Love memes, love humor. So anything that you can do out of the box. You mentioned displaying what you're doing on LinkedIn, which is huge. It's a place where customers are at. And even if they're active, they're going to build more and more of a relationship with you by seeing your organization and seeing you be active there. Humanize yourself. You mentioned getting face to face. I loved get in the mix, right? Hey, man, if you don't have any motion, right, we got to figure out a way to get in there and use that as an opportunity to build that relationship and then ease into it, right? You might not be sending anything comedic today and maybe no memes, right? We don't need you to send 1,000 memes into this week. Ease into it to become comfortable.
Yeah, 100%. No, you summed it up well. I think you gathered all of my main points.
Dude, you crushed it, man. I look forward to learning more from you. It's been incredible getting a chance to know you. And thank you very much for chatting with us a little bit on Sales Bites about creative outreach.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. I enjoyed it.